let's go to Instagram. Anybody watch LinkedIn? All right, so what's the importance of doing this online? Why is this important?
Social media presence.
All right, this energy sucks. I love everybody to death. I've asked 3 questions. I got 1 answer. I need some energy here. All right, just took me an hour and a half to get here. So, why is this important to do this? Huh?
For you, top of mind.
If you do it for one, you got to do it for everybody. It's number 1. Number 2, your friends don't give a shit about you. Your friends don't care that you're in real estate. So if you don't stay in front of them and you're not obnoxious and in a nice way, they're going to forget about you. The amount of stories I've heard over the years is my friends didn't use me to buy real estate. This investor didn't call me. You know why? You didn't do your job. And your job is to stay in front of people. Is that fair? We have what's called social media, and I highly recommend it because what's going to happen is you guys are going to get more business. You're already doing great, but if you don't stay in front of people, they're going to forget you. Is that fair? Yeah. All right. How are you going to make? What was the class? 4 transactions, 10 million. Someone please explain to me how can you do that quick? 1 deal a quarter, you can make $270,000. How can you do that? Colin knows. That's why Colin's here. Anybody else? Once again, dude, what's the energy? You guys are supposed to be, this is a high energy office. There's music, there's beer. I feel like I'm not going to say the company right now because it's on live, but you feel like I'm at like a rest home.
I would assume working with investors.
Huh?
I would assume working with investors.
We work with investors. Anybody else?
Apparently you buy one property and turn that into 4, and then capitalize on the listing end of it.
What have you been doing? Listen to our conversations. So that's what you need to do. All right, you guys ready? Got a pen and paper? $10 million in sales. Number 1, find rm1 lots. That's not recording. Number 2, where do you find rm1 lots? Let's ask Colin Conway. Colin, what website is good to find rm1 lots?
Atlas.
This is on email, by the way, Nick. What?
Atlas.
Atlas?
Yeah,
what
I
else?
use public records and then I double
Here,
check.
sit right here. You can join me on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
Yeah, I check public records and then double check with Atlas.
All right, do you guys know what Atlas is?
No. Yes, the city.
All right, so if you don't, ask them. This is what we're going to do. Colin, what's Atlas?
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's a city site that tells all the zoning, the use of the property, the deeds, the assessments, and everything else. Pretty much all the information you need to know about the property, the owner, the taxes, everything is on Atlas. When you type it, you can search a property specifically, or you can go to a map and it will overlay all the zoning in a neighborhood, and it'll tell you what the zoning is.
So where would they find Atlas?
Atlas.com, right?
Google.
Google.
Right, something.
Yeah. Google.
All right, so that's 1. What's the site with the heat map? I call it a heat map. It's not a heat map.
The stormwater map?
Ah, that's a different one. You guys know what the stormwater map is?
Tells you the boundaries and stuff.
Water runoffs.
You should see your guys' faces. I love you to death. I ask questions, everybody's like this. Anybody know what the stormwater map is?
Yes, it gives you a breakdown of like the boundaries of the property and what, levels they're at.
All right. What's the benefit of a stormwater map?
So you can find the property
You
dimensions.
just said it. Just say it again because I want to see if everybody got it.
You can see the boundaries of the property from front to back and like the size generally.
Check for easements and stuff.
So if you guys ever want to, know the lot size of a lot, that house right there, this one they're building, you could literally go on the stormwater map and literally click the whole lot size and figure out the lot. Did you guys know that?
No.
No? All right, this is interactive, right? So we're going to do it one more time. You guys know that? No. Give it a little help out. All right. So,
Good information.
what is it?
Good.
Good information. So Stormwater Atlas, what's the map that we like? It's saved on my computer that like tells you it's RM1, RSA 5. Is that Atlas?
You can do that on Atlas too.
You can do that on
It's
Atlas.
just a zoning overlay for the neighborhoods.
So you should have those saved on your iPhone. So when you're walking down the street, phila.gov, right? Is the other one, quick for zoning? You should have it on your phone. Why should you have that on your phone?
As you see lots.
When you're driving
shows
around.
you.
So if you're in front of the property, you know.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So that's that. So now we give you a little bit of information. Now, how the heck do you find these things? Is that fair? It's definitely not phone calls. Hey, it's Jeremy over here at Keller Williams. I just wanted to give you a call. I believe you have an RM1 lot house, and I'd like to buy it. Could work, right? Fair? Yes, no?
Yeah.
All right. Or two, how about this? Knock, knock. Hey, Jeremy Bowers here. Just wanted to stop by, work over at Keller Williams. We're buying houses in your neighborhood right now. We're paying $400,000 for houses. Who do you know in the neighborhood that would sell their house right now for $400,000? As is, leave all the stuff in the house and walk away. Who do you know?
Everybody.
Everybody. Okay, great. Would you be interested in selling your house for $400,000?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So I have a contract with me right now. You got 15 minutes. We'll write this up. We'll buy it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Obviously, I wish that was a perfect world, but it doesn't always work that way. So in all seriousness, if it does, great. If it doesn't, then always ask, why didn't I ask him if he wanted to sell his house first?
It's, yeah.
Standing right in front of them. Why not?
Build the report first.
Right, we'll
Yeah.
build the rapport first. So always ask someone first. And if you're watching this and you do business with my wife or myself or anybody else, I'm sorry, this is how everybody does business in life, is we have to find out your motivation to see if we can help you or not. Fair? But if we go directly at you, most people won't do that because why?
Protecting themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so ask who else. And then if the conversation's good, just ask them, hey, have you ever thought about selling? All right, so that's that. Number two is, how do you know what you can pay for it? How did I know 400 grand?
Is he the bill for you?
So we figured out the lot, right? We figured out the lot.
Atlas and public records and the stormwater map. You know the lot dimensions, you know what you built by right, you know what it costs to tear down the property, and that's how you come up with the number.
Who in this room door knocks? Raise your hand. I got a couple of halves. I saw one like this. Seriously, raise your hand if you door knock. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. So you guys tell me, what percent is that? Keep your hands up, keep your hands up. What percent? You tell me.
30.
Huh? What is it?
Pretty low.
What percent? 10%? 20%? What does that tell you?
Not many people do it.
So I was at the beach over the weekend. I looked at my daughter. I said, see Springer's Ice Cream? Anybody go to Springer's Ice Cream ever? It's in Stone Harbor. Very good, right? Right? So I said, don't do what everybody else does. And I explained this to her a lot in life. She's 9. And my niece was with me, and she's like, she's like, why? I said, we can't go to Springer's at night. She said, why? I said, there's going to be a line at Springer's. You want Springer's Ice Cream? Go at noon. I don't like ice cream at noon. Well, guess what? If you don't want to you want to waste 45 minutes of your life, go eat ice cream at noon. Right? So what did we do? We went over to Springer's Ice Cream, got it at noon, walked in, no line, kid enjoyed it, got 45 minutes of her life back. But the point of the story is this. I just had you raise your hands, and this is the most successful business in Philadelphia. You guys, you know you're #1 in units in all Philadelphia. Do you understand that? I've been doing this game since 2003. I've helped a lot of successful people grow their business. I had a business doing 175 units a year, office doing around 250, 300 million. Guess what? I couldn't crack it. This thing's been in business for 2 years. It's #1 in units in Philadelphia. Do you know how many years people were waiting to knock off the #1 person? Seriously, I've been doing it since 2003. There was only one #1. If they're watching this, you know who you are. Point of the story is this. Door knock, do things that others aren't willing to do. Noah did things that most people would not do. Big guts to go open up a brokerage. There's not a ton of money in the brokerage game, but he wanted to change the game, and he went for it. Where guys like me and other people didn't do it. Why? Maybe we're scared. Maybe two, we didn't want to do what other people didn't do. The point of the story is this. You just saw how many people in this office who's the #1 in units don't door knock. Fair?
Yeah.
So if you realize this, just do it. This camera is literally crooked. I look drunk on Instagram, but I don't care. We got to get a new stand for it, a new thing. But I'd rather get made fun of. I'd rather fail than not do it. Does that make sense? All the private money I raise, I don't ask people for it. It's all off of Facebook. The people that are watching this today, someone will call me and say something, hey, I got capital, I want to invest in real estate. Then I'll go to the bar and someone will make fun of me. And after they make fun of me, what they're going to say to me is, Yo, dude, how do you find your deals? Fair? In life, people want what other people don't want. They just don't want to do what it takes to do it. Fair? So door knock. How the heck are we going to increase our door knocking? You have to decide that. You got to find a partner in the office. You got to door knock. The best example I know that's sitting to my right now, Colin Conway. There's other guys I know, Nikki Gianni, Jimmy Roach. Who else? Steve Stafford. All these guys, all these people at our old office. This is what we did to build our business. Some of these people did $7 to $17 million in their first year. We had 5 rookie of the years. They all did $7 to $9 million a year. 3 to 5, that didn't cut it, right? So here's the tip. How the hell can you do 10 million? Number one, you got to figure out what area you're going to focus on, okay? Write this down. Number two, you got to figure out what zoning. Number three, you got to find a buddy to do it, because most people will not do it because it sucks, it's boring, and who wants to talk to a stranger? And fourth, you have to understand what you can pay. If you talk to Colin, Colin will tell you this. I'm going over to XYZ Street. I know I can pay X, and I know I can resell at X, so I can offer X. Does that make sense? So I'll give you an example. Where he dominated and really turned the neighborhood around, him and Steve, was Francisville. They realized that there was a need because there was rm1 zoning. They realized that you could buy a house for $250,000 to $400,000, and I'm an idiot and bought one for $375,000 and backed out. Now people are paying what, $450,000, $475,000? We thought they were going to go up to 1.4, 1.5. They're up to $1.9 million. But here's what they did: they found a house, you knock it down, and you build how many?
Built 45 units. So we got 4 bites at the apple too. So we literally brought a buyer, listed the house for sale, brought the buyer, found the tenant a new home to live in, so it was home sale contingent. So the question is, where am I going to move? Well, I'm a realtor, so let me find you a home you love. Just give me an opportunity. And that works. So I take them around, find a new home to live, same day settlements. So not only I get the listing, I bring the buyer, I find the old seller a new home, and then my developer tears down the house or builds it to the highest and best use, which is typically 4 to 5 units. So then I get four sales out of one deal. And typically outsells in rm1, if you do condos, it can be upwards 1.5 to 2.5 million. And we did it 8 houses in a row on 20th Street, and then we got a few other ones lying around. But then the zoning actually changed too, to RSA 5.
So what's the best zoning?
rm1.
rm1, right? What's the best reference guide to learn this? Atlas, but just Google Philadelphia zoning guides. It'll come up for free off of Google. Quick reference guide. Have that saved on your computer. Up at the top of my Mac, it says like literally everything how to build a house, all the shortcuts. Does that make sense? But it's called Philadelphia zoning map. You just Google it. So let's do the math again. Who wants to be interactive with me? Don't raise your hand all at once. Madeline, great. Congratulations. So $400,000 for a house, right? You find it for 4. How many can you build? If you find an rm1, how many houses can you build? Correct. All right, so 4. Who wants to tell me what's 4 times 400?
1.6 million.
1.6 million, right? 1.6. And how much did you originally buy the house for? Let's call it 400 math purposes. 400 plus 1.6 is what? 2 million. 2 million times 3% is what? 60,000. Take that times 4. What is that? 240. Okay. Now you do that same math at 500. If you get outsells at 500, right? That's going to basically get you around 2.5 million. You do that 4 times in a year, 1 quarter from door knocking. How much business is that? 2.5 times 4. How much is that?
10 million.
10 million. What's 10 million times 3%? 30,000. You guys have what's called what? Caps. So you can figure out your expenses pretty easy at a business. $25,000 cap, 3% franchise max, pay some fees, you're probably around 30. You should be netting how much money? 300,000 minus 30 is what? 270. Who wants to make $270,000 by finding 1 house once a quarter? Okay. Or you can be an idiot like Jeremy and literally pick up the phone book and call everybody, or door knock everybody like I originally did and have no what? No strategy. Just literally just talking to everybody, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so let's do the math again. Who wants to do it? What's a house going to cost? 4. What are you gonna sell them for? 2 million, right? What areas should you guys look? Let's talk about that. You guys cool with that? Yeah?
Over here.
Dude, is this how trainings are? No one talks. I've never been. Is this bad? Oh my god, is everybody throwing cameras?
Four.
You just don't know me yet. I'm just.
No one wants to give away their neighborhood. So.
Alright. So, in all seriousness, what neighborhoods would you guys think about doing?
There's so many places in West Philly, Brewerytown, Surrey,
Francisville,
Francisville,
Hospital, Pennsville. Every neighborhood has RM1.
Huh?
Kensington?
Okay. That was a trick question. What's the most important part?
Any neighborhood. Wherever the deal makes sense.
Yeah, but the what?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. No.
Zoning?
Thank you.
Yeah.
The zoning.
Zoning, yeah.
So when you go on this map, look at the map on the Philadelphia site and move it around. Type Brewerytown in. Type in White Breeze. Type in West Philly. Type in whatever area, and you can start to see it move. Does that make sense? It wasn't like Colin and Steve literally were like all over. Were you? Were you originally all over or no?
We used to just knock everywhere we could and knock 200 homes, but then we kind of got defined in our searches and were preemptively attacked certain blocks. And then we kept showing up 3-4 times a week.
So how often should you do this?
Probably 3-4 times a week.
What is it? You said, right? Both of you, right? What you gonna say?
Once they know your name when you knock on the door, you're good. If they see you
Who
walking around
smokes
the neighborhood-
cigarettes? Well, I hope you don't. All right, so you admit it, right? All right, here's a trick. Take a pack of cigarettes, offer them to people in the neighborhood. When you're door knocking, Dad, if you're watching this, I don't smoke cigarettes. You told me you would beat my ass if I ever did, so I never smoke cigarettes. Drinking is a different story. But anyways, on a serious note, have a pack of cigarettes, walk around the neighborhood, and if you see someone sitting on a stoop having a smoke, offer them what? What does that normally happen after that conversation? Build a rapport. If it's a hot day, I'd park a car, I'd have some water in the car in the cooler, and walk around. Yo, hot day. I talked to the guy outside today. Yo, he was clean. Do you ever meet the guy outside cleaning the street? Like if I was door knocking today, I'd go back to my truck, gave him a bottle of water, and said, hey, it's a hot day, dude. You know, just wanted to introduce myself. Here's a water. You know, looking out for you. What's gonna happen? Yo, what do you do? Why give me a water? What do you want? Nothing. I just give me a water because it's a hot day and I'm always looking out for people. But since you asked, I'm in real estate. I'm looking to find some deals for my clients. And you know, do you know anybody that's looking to what? Sell, right? And then from there, obviously, the conversation goes. So, what questions do you guys have? We're gonna keep this right on track for you. Gotta be some questions. Anybody ever look for an RM1 zoning? No. Would you now?
Yes.
Okay.
Talk about like the minimum requirements for condos.
So what's the minimum lot size that you want for RM1?
So it's 360 ground square feet for the first 1440. So the 1440 ground square feet. The first 4 units is 360 ground square feet per unit. Anything after the first 1440 ground square feet is 480 additional ground square feet per unit. So that's how you calculate how many units you can build by right.
Here, come on.
No, I don't like that.
So say that again.
So it's 360 ground square feet per unit for the first 1,440 ground square feet. So let's say 20 by 100 foot lot. That's 2,000 ground square feet. So the first 1,440, I subtract 1,440, I can do 4 units. And whatever's remaining, so after the first 1,440, you add 480 ground square feet per the additional unit. So with 2,000 ground square feet, I can do 5 units. Because 1440 plus 480 is like 19, I can't do math like that. Hold on. 1920, so that's under the 2,000, so that's 5 units by right on a 20 by 100 foot lot.
So you're not going to learn that overnight, fair? Because I could ask him 4 more times when I originally talked to him, right? If you guys want, always if you want a class on something all seriousness, just shoot me an email, jeremycbowers@KW. And I keep a list. I have an Excel sheet of any requests that you guys have. And if you notice this month, how many classes do we have? About 40 options, right? We're gonna try to keep it around that number for you guys. So whatever you ask, I can find a person to help out with that subject. I think that's gonna be a really big one for people.
So let's say a 15 by 50 foot lot. How many units can you build on it? 15 by 50 foot lot. So 15 by times 50 is 750 ground square feet. So you divide that by 360 because it's under the first 1440, so that's 2 units by right. And then anything after the additional 1440, you can do 480 square feet per unit after the first 1440. Does that make sense? Am I saying that right?
It
It sounds a little confusing, but if I put it on paper,
on the board.
if you put it on paper, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Are there minimums for, on build space, like garden space?
Depending on the location.
Yeah.
But not really. I mean, it's a 9-foot rear yard typically. So, I mean, you can do 75% lot coverage on interior lots, 80% lot coverage on the corner. So, that's how you calculate the size of the building you build. So, on 750 ground square feet, 15 by 50, you can build a 15 times 0.75. Say it's an interior, you can build a 15 by 37.5 foot house by right. Whether you want to go 3 stories or 4 stories, it's up to you. If you stick under the 38 feet height requirements for rm1. So, I mean, there's a lot of different avenues to do so. You just got to figure out what kind of building you want based on floor plans, unit size. You want bigger units, smaller units, and you can save. You can build cheaper. You can build a smaller units, or maximize the profit and try to resell them. It all depends what your end goal is. Do you want to rent them, cash out and refi, or do you want to sell them as individual condo units?
So what's the most important thing in the first 30-minute class, would you guys say?
On rm1.
Find rm1 zoning, right? Number 2? Door knock. Thank you, right? Strategically. What else? Huh? I can't hear you guys back here. Build rapport. What else?
Atlas.
Atlas. What else?
Keep showing up.
Keep showing up. I like that one. Consistency. Consistency. Have a strategy, right? You just mentioned that, right? Strategy, right? That's a good one. What else?
Find out people's motivation.
Yep.
Okay. Find out why.
The biggest thing I've found out is you have to figure out what your why is and do it. Does that make sense? This all comes back to what you want out of life. If someone ever wants to sit down with me and talk, I'd love to sit down and talk with you, but the first thing I'm going to ask you for is I'm going to ask you to fill out a questionnaire. Because everybody has what? A story. Everybody has a story. So I talked to a person on the phone today, he had a story. And I said, listen, that's a great story. But what I want you to do is dig inside your heart and figure out what you want, because you're telling yourself a story. And I want to figure out what you want. If we can figure out what you want, you can get it. I'll give you an example. Colin Conway was probably making, he was working at Conshohock and Coldwell Banker, doing a couple deals, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea why he was out there. I live in Bluebell. He's a lot younger than me. I'd be living in the city if it was up to me. But anyways, he came to the Coldwell Center City, and what he found was he had a spark in his, you know what, and he literally went out and did it. Now he's back, right, doing the same thing he did before over here. And what's in him right now? A spark. What time do you get up in the morning?
5 a.m.
What time do you go to bed?
10:30.
What time did you used to go to bed?
2 a.m.
Right? I bet him all day a week because he knows when he's going to eat dinner now. He knows when he's going to go to bed. And he has a spark. When you have your back against the wall and you really want something, you'll do it. So today's training is, if you really figure out your why and your motivation, you'll do it. If not, only 10-20% of people only ever door knock because their motivation is not strong enough. Does that make sense? So we're going to do a little quick exercise. We'll get into the fun. Ready? What's your motivation? What's your motivation? You got to answer it. How many people? Huh?
Well, I want to grow real estate too.
What's your motivation? What's your motivation? What's your motivation? Huh?
Legacy for the family.
All right, you guys get cut off. You're okay. We're just going to go back as all right. So now we're going to do this again. Those are great. Who said kids? Kids. Got to get more detailed. Okay? So if you really want to door knock, here's what I would say. I have, how many kids do you have? 2. I got 2 kids. I need to save $1 million for my 2 kids. If you want your kids to go to college, you want to pay for a college and a wedding, you have girls or boys? All right, so you go off on the 1. It's pretty good. I only have 1 girl, right? So you're on the same boat ones, right? So now you need about right now they say about 50 grand a year for college. That's 250, right? Maybe they'll start a business with you instead. They don't go to college. It's 250, right? It's 250, and they're going to need literally. It's crazy to say, but weddings they probably say. I grew up Punxsutawney where you'd have a wedding at a gun shop and it'd cost you $10 and everybody would bring their own booze. So I'm not the right person for that. But honestly, a wedding. What do you think a wedding is going to cost by then?
40 grand.
Hell no, it's not going to cost 40 grand by then.
Minimum.
I would say minimum at 100. We're talking by the time we're counting how old your kids are. Mine's 9. But by the time they're getting married. So right there, it's just called one kid. You need $350,000. How the hell am I going to get $350,000? Here's how you do your why. I need $350. I got 10 years. I got $35,000 a year that I need to save to provide this. I need $3,000 a month. How the hell am I going to do that? Holy shit! You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to go do what Jeremy just said and find 4 deals a year on rm1 zoning. That pays for my kids' college and my kids' wedding. See what I'm saying? You got to dig deeper on it. You said legacy. It's great. Legacy. What legacy do you want to provide your kids? Do you want to provide your kids with a $100,000 Keller Williams will? So your downline is willable. It's one of my goals. I want my daughter to have 10 G's a month to get ahead of the game when she gets out. And one of the things is willable. Willable things. What can I give her? Rental properties. I can give her a Keller Williams downline. I can give her some other things I'm involved, right? What can you give them to create a legacy? Does that make sense? So we'll do other classes on that. Anybody that knows me, we'll dig deep on your guys' motivation or why, how we can help you and get you there. Most times I find most people aren't where they want to go is because of why?
Themselves.
Huh?
Themselves.
Right? It's ourselves. And number 2, there's this word starts with a C. What is it? Or an F.
Complacent.
No. Complacency's there.
Confidence.
Like everybody in this room, you're not complacent. You wouldn't be here. You're all hustlers. You're all motivated. And I was teasing earlier about energy and things like that. But I give you guys credit. You're here because you want to get better, right? You could be doing anything right now. So congrats on that. But what is it? Clarity and focus. What I'd like to help you guys with is anybody that wants to take their business from here to here, is we need to work on clarity and focus. So you guys are going to notice in our trainings now, they're not going to just be random trainings all over, which I still think we have the #1 training system in Philly. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Who has 30 to 40 trainings a month? Not very many places. That being said, our classes are going to be aligned strategically. So if you said you wanted to get better at marketing, or you want to get better at door knocking, those classes will be at the same time each month. Does that make sense? So like social media will be at the same time each month, twice a month. So we're working on some things like that. So once again, if you guys have any ideas, let us know. The second part of the class today is how does a real estate fund work? Do you guys know? Anybody? No? No? All right. So Justin, everybody know Justin? Probably not. All right. So Justin, Noah, and myself started a real estate fund, and one of our goals is to get people to invest in the fund or find deals. How can you guys make money off a real estate fund? Anybody?
Bring them deals.
Bring them deals. What else?
Investment.
How's a real estate fund work? Nobody? I didn't know 60 days ago. Honestly. So Justin created a fund before called Prime Rock. Prime Rock was Michael O'Neill? Michael, new partner on it. Michael was a big developer. Anybody ever go to Conshohocken? Yeah? So most of those buildings along the water, I used to live in Conshohocken. That was like, not the prettiest area back in the day where my buddies grew up. They built that and built those office buildings. Pulver and O'Neill brothers basically built most of those buildings. He started a fund, Justin ran it, called Prime Rock. And it was what, 30 million? $30 million fund. So he understands how to raise money, how to manage the money, and how to teach an investor to make money, and we can make money. Does that make sense? So what I want to do is bring him in today, and he's going to give us a quick breakdown on how a fund works. And we're just going to basically give you just a little bit of information, like number one, Justin, what does it cost to invest in a fund? How much money does a person normally need to invest in a fund? Say our fund, how much would they need as of right now?
$150,000.
So you need $150,000 to invest in the fund. If Jeremy wouldn't invest in the fund, on the $150,000, what type of returns would I expect?
In our fund, if
it's about a 2.5 times multiple of your money. So if you invested $150,000, you can expect to get back 2.5 times that.
In what period of time?
Great question.
So in 5 to 7 years.
Got it?
And that would be equivalent to roughly a 22% IRR.
So that's one. What's the split difference? This is a question you want to always look at funds, right? Like, how's that return getting made? 65% will go to the what? LP?
To the limited partners.
And then GPs, or normally people who created it, they get 35, okay?
So when you invest in a fund, you're investing in basically a management team to take your money and invest in it. So what we've said is we have a really cool platform. We can go invest in real estate deals across Philadelphia to do residential development of all sorts. So you guys are thinking, hey, we can go, find rm1 properties and sell them to a developer who wants it to develop them. We, as the fund, want to develop those deals. So we're a buyer of those assets. So what we look to do is raise money, a pool of money, to go invest on behalf of their investors. So our incentive as the general partner, the guys who, the people who wake up every day to go, find investment opportunities, deploy them, figure out how to capitalize them, sell them, figure out the strategy. What are we going to buy? What neighborhoods? Where are we going to do it? How big is the size range? How much are we going to do construct to sell? How much multifamily are we going to hold? How are we going to, sort of hedge? How are we going to invest through the cyclical real estate market? Those are the decisions that we get up and make every day. So for that, the general partner gets paid. And the way the general partner gets paid, they really get paid predominantly in 2 ways. One is you pay a management fee. So just as if you were investing in a mutual fund or something like that, you'd see what's the expense ratio that I'm paying. So you're paying somebody to effectively manage your money every day. So there's a 2% management fee in our fund, which is typical in private funds, 2%. As funds get bigger, generally speaking, fees can go down a little bit as the pot gets bigger. But for us, it's really just about, it's a team. We have to hire a team. People have to get paid. We have to have people on the street finding deals. We need to have an accountant. There's things that we need to do. So that helps cover the expenses to be able to run the business. And then the second is tied to performance. We get what we call a promote structure or a back-end split, basically, where if we do really, really well and hit certain performance hurdles, then we share the upside of those deals. And that's the typical structure that you see in what I'll call private equity funds. Kind of heard that term. We are, in effect, a small private equity fund.
And normally you need to be an accredited investor, so you can't just mass market when you have a fund. An accredited investor is a person that makes at least $200,000 a year.
Or $1 million net worth, excluding their primary residence.
See what I'm saying? Now there's other funds that you'll see on like TV. Like you can buy in on a house and go on a website and put money in like 5-10 grand. Those are different types of funds. Anybody listen to Grant Cardone? Who? Anybody else? All right, check him out. Grant Cardone, very, very successful. He probably has about $1 billion in real estate. Started off as a car dealer, car salesperson, trainer, coach, and now he runs a big business. One of his best events is 10X. If you listen to him on podcasts, he's my #1 guy I like to listen to, or person. His wife is a beast, Elena, and she is with him on it, and they do shows and different things like that on podcasts and YouTube and stuff like that. But anyways, he has a fund, and you can invest in the fund. I'm not sure if it's accredited investors or not.
No, so we're working on a deal. There's lots of different types of fund, and whether you choose to go with just accredited investors or non-accredited investors, which would, be sort of the majority of the population out there. There's different regulations attached to them, so it's not that you can't do them, but the regulations are a little different in terms of the amount of time you need to spend with investors, the documents you need to give them, how much money you can raise specifically, etc. And then, what's the risk to the general partner? So, for example, in a fund with accredited investors who are, have a number of assets or have a fair number of assets and are, considered to be sophisticated, if, let's say, the fund were to go bad or it didn't perform as we thought it was going to perform, it'd be very hard for somebody with an $8 million net worth to come and sue the general partner to say, well, I didn't understand this, or I didn't understand this risk, or I thought you were going to do this, but you didn't do that. Whereas somebody who's got $50,000 in the bank who wants to invest $5 grand in your deal, and it doesn't go the way they they may say, well, I didn't get this, I didn't get that, and they're going to get a lot more support from the courts relative to how much information did they actually have, should they have known what the actual risks are, how sophisticated were they. So that's what the big difference is between funds that have accredited investors and funds that are non-accredited investors.
Do you guys get the difference, accredited versus non-accredited? Okay.
So it's a little bit of a different risk profile.
And then how can you guys find deals for the fund? Those RM1 lots that I just told you about, if you find those, we'll buy them all day long. Like, so what's the downfall of getting into real estate? Many things, right? Straight commission. Who agrees? Who likes getting paid straight commission? Oh, it's fantastic. Who likes paying their own benefits? Oh, it's awesome, right? No? You guys do? Right? It sucks, right? So one of the things that can help you when you get into real estate is if you have some money behind you, fair? And you have buyers. Is that fair? So in this case, you have the confidence level now that if you go out and look for deals, that you know that you have an investor that you know can pull the trigger. Because what's the worst thing about an investor? If you're watching this, you're one of my friends, you're an investor, we'll tell you right now what it is. What is it? What's one of the worst things about investors?
Not loyal.
Not loyal. What else?
Cheap.
Cheap. And how about this? Time suckers. Anybody have any investors that call you? I know it's going to be time suckers. They don't even know what they want. It's like two people getting married and they don't really know what they want. That's sure as hell not going to go pretty good in a marriage, right? Expectations. So in this world, we know what we want. You guys know what we want. You can physically go out and find it. And if you want to talk to me afterwards, I can tell you exactly what areas. We're not going to disclose it on social media and on recordings because I don't want everybody to see that. I just want the people that work with us to know what we're buying. And the reason why we do these recordings is so other people in the group that can't make it can see it. And obviously other people that work at other companies, if they want to see us and realize that they're at the wrong spot. Or number two, they can get smarter while they're at the wrong spot. Eventually they'll come over. But no, in seriousness. So the fund, what you want to do is think about is what we'd buy. And if we'd buy it, who else would buy it?
We would.
You would buy it. Other investors will buy it, right? So once you learn what people will buy, it changes the game. Like there's someone who was going to be here today. They're putting an offer on 4 lots this morning, and they couldn't come because they know exactly what the investor wants. One of the mistakes I made as an investor originally was I wasn't clear enough with people. Does that make sense? I wasn't clear understanding what I want to invest. Bring me a deal. How often do you guys hear that?
Always, all the time, every day.
Right? And what do you say?
Sure.
What does that even mean?
What the hell does that mean? Bring me a deal. Bring me a wife. Bring me a husband. What the hell does that mean, right? Like, seriously, like, get to the point. So in this case, we'll tell you exactly what we want. We want an RM1 lot, number 1. Number 2, we want 4 lots or more. So we want to scale it. And number 3 is we want stuff that we can resell in 6 to 8 markets. And we'll tell you afterwards what those markets are, right?
I have one question. Why would I, as a realtor, like, what am I going to, if I bring it to you, besides the fact that you're going to buy it?
You'll be the realtor on the flip, on the
Okay.
buy and the flip.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
So here's the other thing, side note besides the fun, is when you bring a deal to an investor, always make sure you're getting the flip side. So you get paid as the buy agent, and then you'll get paid on the list side. So people in my office before always like, they knew they get paid on both sides. Like, I don't list my own houses. If I find it, sometimes I do, but barely ever do I list it. You know what I mean? Like if no one else had anything to do with it, the numbers are tight, and that's about the only time I would do it. I still give it to other people because I want them to do what? Huh? Yeah, so they give me other deals, right? So they give me other deals, so I'll pay them. So it's a great question. What question do you guys have on the phone?
It's not about the fund, so this isn't the time, please.
No, far away. Anything. I should say about anything. Yep.
If an investor doesn't know what they want, how can they figure that out rather efficiently?
So it's the same thing that I have to do with people that want to be real estate agents. Okay? I have a series of questions I've developed that I have to ask people to figure out what they want. So I reverse engineer their life. So here's a question I would ask an investor. So investor doesn't know what they want. You guys ready for some questions? What is a good deal to you? Okay? Because what's going to weed them out is you're going to realize if they're legit or not. Number 2 is how much money are you willing to invest and what do you want in return? Right? And right there, you're going to find that those 2 questions are legit. So if the guy or girl says to you, I want to invest $180,000 and I want 20% of my money. They can do that. You can find a house in PB for 80 to 100, put 80 into it, right? Do 180, right? You can do that. Make 20%. You used to want to make 30, 35. Those days are getting harder right now. You know they're legit. Does that make sense? The next question I'm asking is what area? And the last question is the best question, I think. How many other houses have you bought? Because then you realize what? Experience, right? Does that help you? What was your question? I forget.
How can an investor figure out what they want?
Okay, right. So we go through a series of questions. Now, at that point, if you're not comfortable with that investor and what they want, what would you do?
It's tough.
Huh?
No,
If that investor isn't on the same wavelength with you, what's the next step? Refer them out, or do what I did on the phone today. Don't be afraid to say no or be blunt with people. Like I was teasing you guys earlier about energy, which it was dead, right? But I was teasing you guys, right? But just be blunt with people, and you'll find that people will open up to you if you're more what? Straightforward, open, raw, right? You know, so I don't edit videos. Like people want to know what you're getting, you know. So when you talk to that investor and you're not 100% with that investor, just say, listen, Justin, maybe it's me, maybe it's you. I asked you a series of questions. I'm not 100% sure what you're looking for. If you can clarify a little bit more, then we can figure out if we can work together. If not, Justin, maybe I could refer you to someone else. Because what I don't want to do, man, is I don't want to waste your time and tell you, like most people will, that I'll look for deals. Does that make sense? What I like to do differently is I like to only work with a couple investors, and I want to deliver. If I give you my commitment that I'm going to work with you, Justin, I can go to find you deals. Does that make sense?
Investors like when you're blunt with them, when you're straight up, and even a little rude and ignorant. They want you more.
So when I got in the investor world for the last 12 months, it's so direct and so raw. Like I showed up and I had a suit on. Like today, this week, I'm wearing my Keller Williams shirts. But some days you'll see me sports coats, some days you'll see me t-shirts, whatever, like mix it up. When I went and did this for the investor world, I literally showed up my full-blown suits that I was wearing before, and I was like, no one has any this on, right? Like, there's nothing, right? So then I started asking questions like, holy shit, they're just direct, blunt, right to the point, boom, 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 and that's how you innovate. Get straight to the point. Don't be willing for them to say no, and you not to be saying no. No is the most powerful word in the vocabulary. Why?
Shuts everything down.
What?
Shuts everything down.
Yeah, you set the expectations correctly. Like most marriages or most relationships don't work. If they don't work, I'm not saying they don't work, take it back, I apologize. Is if they don't work, is because no one has said what?
Yeah.
Like my wife told me this week, if you're watching Tandra, no more tennis until you get this done, right? And she's right, because I kind of like was pushing something off I didn't want to do. And she knows me, and like my favorite thing to do besides hang out with my family is play tennis. So I can't play tennis tonight. I went to, I was supposed to go to practice 7:30. They're like, I was like, guys, I can't come. They're like, why? I was like, my wife's cool as hell. I haven't got this done. I need to be called out on it. I'll see you Saturday. And people respect that, but you have to have that type of relationship and understanding of saying no, right? Understanding it. So what are questions you guys have? We're right on time. We got 3 minutes. Was that helpful today?
Yeah.
Do you guys like 30-minute classes? Or do you like hour classes? We had 2 subjects today, is why it's hour. I want to get your feedback. What kind of classes? Do you like 30 minutes, hours? How do you guys like? Because after a while,
I like that there is an option for a 30-minute class
Okay.
now.
Okay.
You know. But
So you like
it depends on the subject material.
exactly.
All right, that's my thinking. If you guys are okay with that, my thinking is depending on the subject. Okay. And number 2, if you guys are okay with this, I'd like to get some a little bit more. I don't know what they were before, but I've just been to a lot of real estate trainings over the years. Is get them a little bit more interactive. And sometimes, if you guys are okay with it, once we get like tables that move around like regularly, I like to get you guys in little like groups sometimes. But you guys, when you leave, you guys can literally have a little game plan of what to do. Does that make sense? Because we can sit here and talk all day, but if we don't do what, who cares? So I'd like to leave you with this. What's 3 things that you guys are going to do from today's class to help you implement to make $270,000? Okay, so that's number 1. Would you guys agree? We're all going to vote. We're going to have a little voting guide, right? So, what's it? rm1. Okay. What's the second thing, would you guys say? Huh? Oh, zoning. That's rm1. That is that. That's number one. What's the second thing?
Have a buyer
That's
who
good.
will actually buy once you find them. Like,
No, find out what they want. Be on the same page with people when you're going out to hunt. Is that fair? You're saying no. You're saying figure out what they want. Have an understanding. Colin, very clear. Steve Stafford, very clear. Nick Giganni, very clear. Jimmy Roach, very clear. They understand exactly what they want. And if you guys want more clarity on this afterwards, I can show you exact examples. Like if you find them, I can tell you exactly what we pay. Is that cool? If you're watching this and you want that info, you got to work here. Sorry. What's the third one? Huh? Door knock strategically, more importantly, what is it? Figure out your why, your motivation, and when your back's against the wall, you'll do things that most people won't do. So if you need help on that, I love it. I sent a text to Sky, Noah, and Jake today. I'm normally in bed by 10. I'm normally up by 5:15, sometimes 5:30, and I work out a couple of days a week. Well, since I took this new gig, new job here, new career with you guys, my life is off track. I don't like it. So I've been working till midnight. You know, I love what's here. There's things I want to adjust. There's things I want to improve. Office is killing it. So that's my personality, right? You guys, anybody else have a personality like that? You just pound it. You look back like, shit, now I'm not going to the gym as much. I'm not playing tennis as much. I have this pain in the back of my neck. What the hell's going on, right? So I called myself out and said, listen, I'm done. At like 10 o'clock, I got to be in bed, guys. So who wants, and Colin, I've held him accountable for years now, it's coming back. He's like, 10 o'clock, shoot me a text, you're in bed, you're going to bed. And then I'll shoot them a text at 5:15, 5:30 when I'm up, and then I'll join that 5 a.m. club next month, right? When your back's against the wall, you'll do things that you normally won't do. Does that make sense? Who's in the 5 a.m. club? What time do most people get up?
7.
Raise your hand if you get up 6 or earlier. I want to see this, I'm curious. 6 or earlier? Damn, we're hustlers here. I know it. That's why we're #1 in units in Philly. 6 or, all right. How about 7 and earlier? All right. How about noon? I'm just teasing it. You better just leave. Do everybody know Mike Soroka? Mike does about $70, $80 million, my old business partner. When I originally met Mike, he literally was selling real estate, making 6 digits, and he would get up at like 11 or 12 o'clock. I'm like, who are you, dude? He's like, I work at the bar, right? And I didn't realize what he was doing. He was working until 2, and then he literally slept, and then he worked from 11 until he went to the bar. It's not any time you need to sleep, right? But most people are getting up before what time? 6. Yeah. So, huh? You got 4:45? You got to join the 5 a.m. club. Right? Who would tell you got up before 5?
I literally exactly 4:45 every day.
Anybody else? All right.
Time to go to bed.
Early. 9:30. Come on, 9:30. At the latest.
What happens after 9 o'clock at night? Anybody else watch trashy shows once in a while? Right? I was watching last night. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just not in love with you anymore. The Bachelorette. She was down to the final 3.
I like 2 weeks so high.
Did you all? Oh, sorry.
What are you doing, Jeremy?
We were watching it last night. I'm like, Tandra, I was like, I can't do it. My wife's like, I just need something to feel good about. So once in a while we'll watch that.
Yeah.
All right. Is that guys cool? Was it helpful today? All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. If you want the areas, just let me know.